now.
Calling officials cheaters or corrupt, it's not a game.
Insulting referees, it's not a game.
Threatening officials, it's not a game.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes, it's not a game.
Violent language in the stands, it's not a game.
Verbal abuse from the sideline, it's not a game.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot, it's not a game.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Roncalli High School. It is State Championship Saturday here on IndianaSRN. Our 1A championship game features the top two teams in the state. Number one, Brebeuf at 13-1. They've won their last 12. They'll be taking on Heritage Christian, winners of their last 5. They come in at 12-3. Today's game brought to you in part by True Lacrosse, committed to education and developing young men and women in the sport. IUPUI, School of Health and Human Sciences. Begin your journey today. Empire Lacrosse, your source for all things lacrosse. The Morales Group, building better futures one story at a time. And by Burner Electric, serving greater Indianapolis and the surrounding counties. Troy Dargowski, Joy Lindstrom, Keith Myers down in the sidelines, and all indications are, Joy, before we talk with Keith, that this matchup could be a very close one between number one and number two.
Well, the last time these two teams played, it was a 1-goal difference in favor of Brebeuf Jesuit. And you said it best. The best way I could describe this game is just it's going to be chaos. These are rivals. These are teams who don't care for each other anyway. They grew up playing against each other. These are two teams who really, at the end of the day, we're going to see competition everywhere. Guys diving for ground balls, chasing after long shots. You're also going to see a battle at the face-off X as well, and these goalkeepers are something to behold.
Well, we're going to talk more about both these teams in a moment. By the way, the hardworking Keith Myers is down on the field, and I have a feeling it's a little bit warm this afternoon.
Thank you very much, guys. And it is a hot day here in Roncalli High School. 108 degrees on the field, 88 actual temperature. The wind is blowing, which is helpful. I'll be hiding a little bit with the fans in the water cooler, but it should be a great game. This, as you mentioned, this was a one-point game the last time these two guys meet. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to covering the sidelines for you. Back up to you guys.
All right, thank you, Keith. And again, a warm day. Enjoy that. Has to be a huge key. Both teams this time, we had the club championship moments ago, but these two teams now bring their tents out. They got a lot of water down there, and they're going to need it.
Yeah, they are. The heat is definitely a factor. These games are played a little bit earlier in the day, so you don't get the dead heat of that afternoon. The 2A game might be a different story, but for the 1A teams, you're in a spot where you got to be able to fill up in your water, get your electrolytes in you so you're not cramping, and just overall keep your cool head about you as well, because sometimes when it's hot, you're getting more tired. You could get a little more frustrated, and if those mistakes pile up, you don't want that to blow up into your face. But both these teams very focused on one goal, a state championship. Two completely different teams from last two state championships for the Class 1A. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Let's break these two teams down. Talk about Heritage Christian. They come in 12-3 on the year, got a lot of weapons, and so very close in talent when you put these two teams together.
Zach Hastings is the man up front for Heritage Christian, number 16. He's got 30 goals on the season and 25 assists. He's going to be the catalyst for a ton of offense today for this Heritage team, and they can line it up on defense as well.
Yeah, he's got plus 50 points on the year as well, and it kind of gives you an idea of how balanced he is. On the other side, Brebeuf. They've got guys that can score left and right. In fact, you go up and down that lineup, they've got guys that are 30, 20, 40-plus this season.
Will Kirker is going to be a player to watch on the Brebeuf side, number 5 at attack, 34 goals on this season as well. They just move very fluidly. In their only loss of the season against Zionsville, they were struggling to move fluidly off ball. I expect them to be dodging from up top against this Heritage defense and trying to scoop it to other players down low, maybe even at the crease.
Low-scoring affair the first time. You expecting the same thing?
I'm not. I think this is going to be – I think the floodgates are going to open, Troy. This is going to be a matchup where they have nothing to lose, nothing to hold back. Neither coach is going to hide anything.
Yeah.
Just let your players play. I think we're going to see a lot of goals scored. But the goalkeepers are also going to be at their best, I think, as well.
Talk about those two, because if you said that, they're in for a long day, so they got to step up big.
Yeah, it is going to be a long day. Both above 67%. You have Hayden Hicks there for Heritage Christian. He's at 67% exactly. And then you have, on the opposite side, Cam Rice, 71% in the cage. Both players above 120 saves on the year, and that just shows that they're ready to be ball stoppers, but they can be athletic as well.
70%, that's a number you don't hear that often.
No doubt.
In a goalkeeper, do you?
Well, and it's also a testament to the defense and the way that the goalies communicate with that defense. We'll see a lot of communication from both sides today, but really what's going to be the difference is how those goalkeepers keep the cool heads of their D.
We do have the national anthem. Understand, are we going to stay here for the national anthem? It's going to be sung by a special singer today, so let's go to today's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, that'll get you fired up. Heritage Christian, Brebeuf, set to go. Let's talk about keys to this one. You've met once. As you said earlier, Joey, you kind of throw everything out there now. I mean, there really isn't anything to hide. What is going to be the key to this one?
I think if you, at the surface, you take both these teams, start with Heritage. They're not as highly touted as Brebeuf, so they have that kind of chip on their shoulder. A little bit of an underdog mentality. They've also lost to these guys by 1 goal. They know that they were that close to edging who would become later on the number 1 seed in the tournament. Not that the seeding always matters, but that definitely gives you a little bit of an edge. And then if you're Brebeuf, you have all your cards on the table. This is it's a bit of a mixed team, so I wouldn't be surprised if over the next couple of years, if Brebeuf is as good, if not better, than they've been this year. But obviously we're not here to talk about the next few years. Right now, I think they have all their chips moved to the center of the table, and this is a Brebeuf team that, because of how talented they are across the board at different grade levels, I think they're just far more powerful, but I think Heritage has that sort of spirit that might be able to help them in this game. Now, I'm not so sure initially what you could say would be the edge factor, but I think a couple keys are this. I think for Heritage, just one off the top, you got to get going early because this Brebeuf team can bury you. And if you're Brebeuf, you have to be able to stop Heritage because I think you're going to get their best first quarter of the year.
Number 22, Cam
Yes.
Reeves. Number 24, Michael Garver. Number 20, Gus Grammelspeker. Number 15, Colby Lindemann. Number 11, Dominic Siskuko. Sorry, I know that's mispronounced. Number 6, Quentin Cook.
All right.
Number 4, Eli
You know,
Marcus.
one thing about we saw in the club game too was limiting mistakes, and what we saw at the end of the club game, both teams made some crucial errors. Unfortunately for South Bend Adams, they made some really crucial errors, and Munster ends up winning basically with 8 seconds remaining in that one. So key to this one too, I think you just got to limit mistakes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think what we saw in the Club Invitational is something that happens all the time in sports. You feel like you've won. You take maybe that last play off, and it ended up being the difference for Munster. They didn't take that play off. And I think you look at both these teams being crosstown rivals. These kids grew up playing youth lacrosse together. There's a little bit of that, I'm not going to let my peer out-hustle me, out-drive me, or out-hit me. It's a lot more of a, I need to show what I've got, and this is a great day to prove it right here at Roncalli's football stadium in the state championship.
Face-offs are big too, aren't they? I mean, you want to win a lot of face-offs.
Yeah, they are. You're going to have a huge matchup here. Wade Wallen working against, I beg your pardon, Quentin Cook. It's going to be a big when you win the majority of your face-offs, you're more likely to win the game. That's just been true as ever since they implemented face-offs in lacrosse. It's a part of the game that some people think just goes unnoticed because you think, oh, just turn the ball over on defense. Not always the case. That's a huge part.
Well, think how many extra possessions you can get out of that and more scoring opportunities.
There's no doubt about that.
Well, Brebeuf, after, by the way, Quentin Cook got the face-off, we end up seeing Brebeuf on offense for the first time. How will they attack? We have seen so many teams attack differently. How do you want to see Brebeuf attack today?
I think there's a clear size differential, too, for Brebeuf. I think they have great downhill presence with their midfielders, and I think you're going to see a lot of that if they can try to dodge and then dish it to somebody else.
Well, you watch Heritage Christian early, they are checking quite a bit. Everybody gets the ball, they seem to get checked from that Eagle defense. We'll see if that will continue. That is Kirker, number 5. Keep an eye on him this afternoon. As Joy alluded to earlier, he can be very dangerous as he works behind the cage. Sukuso was there. Shot is missed. It'll be back to Heritage Christian.
It was a great hustle by Hayden Hicks, the goalkeeper for Heritage Christian. Definitely doesn't go unnoticed when your goalie is hustling his butt off to try to get out there. But a turnover here, that's not what you want, especially on a clear. Carter Taylor, a little bit of an early lapse there. Could be some nerves and some jitters out here in the state championship game. Neither of these teams have made this game for well over a few years, and this is an opportunity for both these programs to really give themselves a name in this state.
Here's the other thing, Joey. You keep seeing substitutions coming in, a lot of early substitutions as well by both teams.
And I think that's definitely strategic as well. It's pretty toasty down there. and you want to be able to have fresh legs as often as you can. I think we'll see the bulk of the midfielders and attackmen for each team stay out there. Of course, you're going to have if you're on defense, you'll have most of your close defenders and long stick midfielder stay out there as well.
Kirker set that screen and then rolled off the screen. He got double teamed and he goes down. Well, you know what? And I got to mention this if I can.
Yeah.
I have seen a physicality so far from Heritage Christian. I'm going to be curious to see if that plays in their favor.
I think it might. You see Jacob Engel, they're one of their best defenders. He's got 97 ground balls on the year, and they don't always cause turnovers in high school boys lacrosse, but if they did, he would certainly be at least top 5. I mean, number 42 on defense. He's gonna give them all they can handle, this Brebeuf offense.
Good passing. Shot, and the first score of the game. Is that Ike Steidel?
Ike Steidel.
So Steidel gets on the board, and it's 1-0 Brebeuf. 9:25 of this opening period. Boy, I like the way they passed that time. Going to get another look at it.
Yeah, working up top. Gets the beat down the defender, overcommitted. And Steidel puts it through.
So early 1-0 lead here in the opening period of play, and there's another costly turnover for Heritage Christian.
It's Steidel's 19th goal in the year, and somebody you lean on to generate some offense.
Got a timeout, I do believe it is. So Brebeuf is going to get the timeout. 9:09 to go, opening period. 1-0 Brebeuf.
We really focus on modern application development, DevOps, so automating the whole process of delivering your solution, and cloud architecture.
It's very important for mid to large companies to have cloud partners because you can't possibly have all the talent you need to address the complex ecosystem of the cloud.
We advise them on all parts of their business. And then when things are defined and we see a clear goal, Clean Slate also then goes and does the work.
We have a team that is very passionate about what they do. We love to solve complex problems, and there's a lot of companies out there that will avoid, getting involved in those things, and I think that's why clients like to work with us.
Back here at Roncalli, downstairs, Keith Myers.
Maybe on this whole entire field today is the team managers came out with cold rags for both teams, and one set of coaches talking to the defense, one set of coaches talking to the offense. Both of these teams match each other, the coaching staff, the whole entire bit. Also, Brebeuf is playing more physical than I have seen them all year long. I think that might be a key to Vels, because Heritage Christian wants to get out and run.
So far, they have not been able to do so, as again the Braves back in possession. One thing about that, I've noticed that Heritage Christian has set up 2 tents on the sidelines, and a lot of the players, now they're not under those tents right now, but I'm curious to know at some point you say, you know what, players stay under the tent, stay cool, and we'll get you in.
I think so. Why not? I mean, anytime you can cool off and refresh yourself, that's going to play in your advantage, I think. And, another thing Keith mentioned, playing physical, even on offense, you can do that. Typically, we talk about a defense being able to do that. But Brebeuf, physicality isn't always about the hard hits and the stick checks like you see there.
Good defense as Heritage Christian gets the turnover. Kirker was the intended recipient of the last ball, as this one will go out of bounds, and the Braves will have possession. Boy, Heritage is having a difficult time just getting down into their area to try to score.
We haven't had a Heritage Christian possession yet. Ball has only been on the right side of your screen all day. Through the better part of almost 5 minutes now.
One other aspect about the warmth of this day, and you're trying to play physical, that can wear you down both ways. If you're trying to be physical or somebody's being physical with you. Nice pass inside, great save. That looked like Ford Lee on the shot. Heritage Christian ends up losing it again. This is just a tough start for Heritage Christian.
Yeah, definitely not what you want in that scenario. You get a great save out of Hicks. He gets low. Goalies sometimes have a real strong tendency to just think everything might go high. And so he drops to his knees to save that shot, gets a beautiful save, team rallies, and he turned the ball over.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Nice pass again. Low shot wide to the right. Another good effort there as Brebeuf kind of slowed the offense down a little bit. But you know what? At this stage, they're getting some pretty good looks.
They are, and I think we'll continue to see that. But there you go. Engel hustling again for that ground ball. This kid is going to be everywhere today.
Pass intended for Cook, but again off the mark. 1A championship, and the play is going to be loose for a moment and finally picked up by Crew Morgan. And another bad play there for Heritage Christian.
Well, I worry about the attrition of this defense for Heritage Christian. They've been on the field playing for almost 6 minutes straight.
Yeah.
This is going to be, I believe, it's a timeout for Brebeuf.
Wow.
Tim Clark got it in.
All right, we'll take a timeout. Still 1-0.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Back here at Ron Colley. Explain what happened just a little bit ago
so
for that timeout.
Brebeuf was trying to advance the ball, and you only have 10 seconds when that ball is in the midfield between the 30-yard line and the 30-yard line when it's a football field. So they were trying to avoid a failure to advance. Tim Clark smartly takes that timeout as soon as they get possession so that they can retain and avoid that penalty, or avoid the turnover at least.
2 timeouts early, though, by Brebeuf.
I mean, you can't take them home with you, Troy. You know, you can't.
I tried when I was coaching.
You probably told when you were a ref too. You probably told everybody that you can't take them home.
You can't take every one of them, guys. So Brebeuf behind the cage. Early lead of 1-0. This is Morgan. Shot is going to be wide. I'll take that back. That was Quentin Cook. Well, Brebeuf undoubtedly at this stage, we don't have any statistics in front of us, but they are certainly outdistancing in time of possession and shots on goal.
I mean, I would say Heritage probably has 30 seconds worth of possession. This has been completely, literally one-sided, but also just figuratively as well. When you look at just the time of possession for Brebeuf.
Well, we talk about chasing on defense. I mean, you get tired after a while.
Oh, especially in this heat.
Yeah.
These Indiana lacrosse players playing in the cold for so long.
Boy, that little question mark shot right there by Quentin Cook had a lot of zip on it, but good goalkeeping there, and here we go. Heritage Christian on the fast break. Nice passing, get it inside, and we've got our first goal for Heritage Christian. That's going to be number 15, Caleb Hukema. Boy, you know, we talk about the fast break and how key that can be, and once you get down, you maybe 2 or 3 passes and you score.
How about that? I think it's a testament to just laboring on defense. As great as it is that they got that goal, the defense might be like, guys, we were looking for more of a break there. But instead they get the fast break. Beautiful 1-2-3 passing. Pass to assist, get it over to Hukema to dunk it home.
Let's go downstairs, Keith Myers.
The whole entire team just erupted, fellas, as Heritage Christian. If you look at the possession, they've only possessed the ball maybe a minute and a half, and it's tied score. This is going to be coming down to the last 2 or 3 minutes of ball game. Excellent first quarter.
By the way, it reminds you a lot of times when offense scores too quick and your defense is right back out there in football, and they can tire out.
And Lacrosse is forever going to be a game where sometimes the best conditioned team is going to be able to hang in longer and end up winning that game. We'll definitely see how well conditioned these two teams are. Tim Clark, been around forever at Brebeuf. He certainly knows how important that is. When you start in February and you end in June.
Yeah.
Going from cold to hot.
Yeah. Sometimes extreme cold.
Right.
Well, they got cooked. Speaking of Heritage Christian, there's a low shot. Knocked away. Good job again. In goal. You know, Hayden Hicks, not a big guy in goal there for Heritage Christian, but very quick. And another one off his net. Good job.
Hayden Hicks, bit of a brick wall in this first quarter.
Thompson got checked and fell down, and the officials will stop play, and it appears that we have yet another timeout. We will take a break as well. We're tied at 1.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Tight one in this one as expected. Joey said it's going to be a little more high scoring, so we still have 3 quarters and 3.5 minutes to go. So,
I mean, you know, sometimes it might be a hot take, just like the weather. It might be a hot take, just like the weather today. Yeah. I feel like there's a good chance we have a lot of scoring, but based on the way that Brebeuf has been playing, with time of possession, not too many shots taken. Hayden Hicks, a brick wall is I've already tapped him for 4 saves. Oh, not what you want.
Yep, big turnover. A little change in goal here as that's going to be shot wide as Carter Taylor, if that is number 37, Taylor went in a goal and they used Hicks downfield.
Yeah, Backus was trying to, just like the Notre Dame shot last week that made the SportsCenter top 10. You had a 50-yard bomb to score, bar down. I think Backus was trying to do his best impression.
Yeah, Notre Dame winning their first national championship in men's lacrosse. And tell you what, that's a great accomplishment. By the way, Keith is downstairs, and I believe he has one of the trainers with him.
I do. I have their trainer from Roncalli. Mike is here, Mike Stom. And I noticed that you have sunscreen, water, and you got the teams loaded with that. How important is it to stay them very hydrated and covered with the sun?
Extremely important. We put a good action plan together for today's event. We've got the fans misting, the players on the field. We've got plenty of water and Gatorade on the sidelines. Most of these athletes are pretty well trained anyway. and their hydration plan should have started even 2 or 3 days ago.
One of the things that you said, you have several other trainers and you're ready for everything. I just need a little bit more oxygen because coming from my chair to this is pretty tough.
That is one thing we do not carry on the sideline for you, but we do have 4 athletic trainers here covering the event. The trainers from both Heritage Christian and Brebeuf are here, and we have 2 of us on the sidelines to help assist them, also to take care of anything that might happen in the stands.
Awesome. Back up to you guys. This is a great organization.
Ball passed inside and taken away. By the way, the one thing you noticed, he said, we have something for the players, the fans, and everybody else, but they didn't say anything about us.
No, I mean, well, we're in the cozy booth.
Okay.
We got the fan blowing on our legs, so we're okay. We're okay. we can't complain too much. Also,
you better bring that fan a little closer.
Yeah, my bad. No, I'll reach over right now.
Thank you. I noticed there's a low shot and a score, and that looked really easy right there for Dominic Sacuso.
And that's because it was Troy. He got the beat on a defender. Somebody else falls down. Sacuso says, whoa, I haven't had this much room in my entire life. Got to go take advantage of it, and he does. Brebeuf up 2-1.
Wow. Almost to me, it almost seemed like they stopped play. That's how easy that was. So Sacuso and Steidl both scoring now for Brebeuf, and it looks like we've got another timeout. This time it'll be Heritage Christian. 2-1 Brebeuf.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
At one point in my life, alcohol ruled supreme. It was not impossible for me to wake up just as drunk as before I went to sleep, and I use the term go to sleep loosely. I think on most nights it wasn't falling asleep, it was just passing out. There was no way I was getting out of it with my own willpower, so I decided to give Wheeler a try. And since my graduation from Wheeler's program, alcohol has not had any kind of hold on me whatsoever.
It's a warm day, as you know. In fact, it's been forecast to be 95 today for about the entire week. And what you heard the trainer say a little bit ago, which is true, I mean, they've got, 4 or 5 trainers here to tend to the needs of both of these teams. So all the precautions are there. We'll probably see another timeout in the second quarter just for a water break, but they're going to need it.
They're definitely going to need it. Anytime you could go ahead and take another hydration break, you ought to do that. I feel like there's a strong correlation between players needing a timeout when they're thirsty to also how frustrated they can get as well. So those timeouts sometimes when that coaches take because you just need something. Those are opportune.
Oh, my. Off the face-off and the score as Heritage Christian, Wade Wallen, there to make the easy shot, it seemed, and we're tied at 2 apiece.
Just his 3rd goal of the season. And having been my first Heritage Christian game this year, I have to imagine that each of those goals have come off of face-offs just like that. Look at the wheels on Wallen. He's just, I mean, that was his feet were on fire.
Wow.
To get there and score that goal. And that's, I think, what you get with Heritage. All of a sudden, they just get shot out of a cannon.
Is your mindset, though, for Rice? I don't think he was expecting that shot at all.
I don't think so. You definitely don't expect it off a face-off guy because typically face-off guy sticks. The pocket is a little bit, the head is a little morphed. The pocket's a little bit smaller because you want to, or deeper because you want to clamp. So the way the shot goes off those face-off sticks is a little different. I don't think Rice was expecting it, but regardless, 2 goals on 2 shots for Heritage Christian is pretty good.
Not bad. Well, believe me, Mr. Rice, don't feel bad. We weren't expecting that either. So now Brebeuf, can they answer the call? This game turning out to be a lot like what we saw. That will be just off to the left side.
Oh, they're gonna say that was off of Fitzgerald.
And We had a close
Rather
game.
than, or excuse me, they didn't say the Heritage was the closest one. Sorry to stomp on you there.
You're fine. Nice pass inside, and a quick score again for Heritage. That time, number 23, Samuel White. What a way to almost finish out period number 1. That came about 1 minute and 5 seconds after the score by Wallen.
How about that? Another member with just his 3rd goal of the season.
That's almost unheard of.
These Heritage boys are playing quick, Troy. They're hustling harder than you did to go to the concessions after the first game.
Or Keith.
Or Keith.
Well, they win the faceoff again. Here is Zach Hastings.
Got to be able to scoop that ball. Heritage hasn't had a long possession yet. Their defense could use one.
And that's going to do it for the opening period of play. If you're Heritage Christian, momentum going your way, we're tied, or actually should say 3-2 Heritage.
Calling officials cheaters or corrupt, it's not a game.
Insulting referees, it's not a game.
Threatening officials, it's not a game.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes, it's not a game.
Violent language in the stands, it's not a game.
Verbal abuse from the sideline, it's not a game.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot, it's not a game.
Two quick goals by Wallen and White. Heritage Christian scoring within 1 minute and 5 seconds of each other. Let's go back down to Keith Myers.
Guys, talking with the stat lady, she says that's the first time they had went 3 for 3 all year long. And then she says, oh, you're IndianaSRN. You could say that on the air. So she's a fan club of IndianaSRN. She did know that Troy was doing the game today, so she was pretty impressed.
Wow.
So, Troy, you made her top 10. I thought that would pass that along to you.
Yeah,
by the way, the temperature, the breeze has picked up, and it's not bad down here on this side of the field.
You know what? It's funny that Keith says that, but he's not the one running up and down that field, is he?
No, he's not.
That's true, too. Tim Clark is like sweating. I'm not even sweating here yet.
There's a couple coaches in pants. Today's not a pants day, guys.
No way.
Hey, I got one other thing for you.
Sure.
Yesterday, I'm driving around Indianapolis, and I see a bunch of people wearing sweats.
Ooh.
How do you do that?
Well, it's hot outside. You want to sweat in sweats.
Well, they weren't exercising.
It's bad news, though. I don't get it. I'm so weak about that. I need to just shed layers, man. I love the heat, but pants in the heat, no sir.
No, that's not going to work. Well, Heritage Christian, 2 quick goals, leading at 3-2, and we'll switch sides as you see Heritage working left to right.
I just love the way that Heritage took the air out of the ball at the end of that first quarter. You get so much more efficient when you're deliberate and precise on your passing.
Yeah.
That's what they did. And of course, they got that face-off, the goal right off the face-off from Wallen. That was beautifully executed as well. When you take away the time of possession for Brebeuf that helped the Braves dominate that first quarter for the most part, at least for the first half of it, you start to make the opponent uneasy about what you're going to be able to do because they're playing on full energy right now. It's just crazy.
Here is Steidel, who scored earlier. Good look at Connor Fitzgerald as well. When you look at this roster, though, this is still a relatively young Brebeuf team. They don't have a ton of seniors to work with. There's a good core of them, but to make a state championship run here, this group certainly could be back next year, but they're more worried about today.
No doubt. No doubt.
Good patience here on offense. Well, the possession may not matter today as far as time of possession, the way things are going at this stage. And there's another turnover, and Heritage on the run.
Ivan West is a grinder as a short stick defensive midfielder. I think that's an off-ball penalty or an illegal procedure. I don't know. Maybe a ward. I think that's the call. So a ward when you push away with your arm while you're carrying that ball. They get him on that. That's an immediate turnover.
So each team with a turnover in their last possession, and Brebeuf back behind the cage once again. Well, they've been more deliberate here. They've had opportunities earlier, scoring maybe or trying to score a little bit quicker, but now they're going to make that Heritage Christian defense work. Slipping on the turf was Cook. And Heritage after the turnover in transition the other way. Here's Miller. And then he throws it away.
Bad pass by Miller. And I think he was just gassed from running all the way down the field to go clear. Going to be a flag on the play. I think they are going to tab Will Kirker actually for the slash. We'll see here. Because he kind of did get Miller, not in the head, but around the area.
I was watching here on the sideline.
Too many men on the field at once for Brebeuf. And that was, they had a substitution error earlier that wasn't in danger of getting called, but something that Tim Clark obviously wants to stop.
Yeah.
You never want to have to play with man down. This is being the first time that we'll see that today.
So it looks like that was number 9, Crew Morgan, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
But it's only 30 seconds. So if you're Heritage, spin it around once or twice. That's really all you got time for. And then look for the open shot. Or if you'd rather just keep possession and give your defense a break again, you can do that too.
Reed Schrock there for Heritage. Yeah, you're right. With only 30 seconds to go, you don't have a whole lot of time if you want to get a shot off here. They might be content, like you said, just to give that defense a little bit of a blow.
And you have that Heritage player right in the center, occupying the short stick D midi. It's the shot they were looking for.
Low off the turf. You even get a countdown here. I like that. Who is that guy? Really?
That's great. That's awesome. I love it.
That is fantastic.
Heritage.
Shot high and good. Well, I tell you what, that was a great shot there by Ethan Andrews. And Heritage Christian has now scored 3 unanswered, and they take a 4-2 lead.
Ethan Andrews goes top shelf. On the run, no less, to give Heritage the 2-goal lead. I love the hustle out of this Heritage team. What did we say in the beginning? A little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and that's what we're seeing right now, I think.
Yeah, by the way, we just understood a little bit ago, probably didn't hear it on the air. We made reference to it, but we're going to be able to hear some of the penalty calls downstairs
right
now.
That's great.
How about this? Wow. Zach Hastings. And that was as quick of a goal as you're going to see. Their last goal was at 8:42. That one at 8:28.
Hastings, we're waiting for him to make an impact here. How about that? The best part of that play was the face-off. It was beautiful by Wade Wallen. He took it around by the substitution box and just tossed it into play. It just so happens to fall into the cross of one of his teammates, who dishes it to Hastings, and it's over from there. Hastings made a great grab on that ball, by the way.
A couple of flags down. Let's go back to Keith.
Hey fellas, we may be seeing history here. They are 5 of 6 of shooting in the goal, and I think this might be a record, at least a half for a record.
Yeah, went 3 for 3 in that first quarter. I mean, it's no surprise. Heritage is playing so precise and deliberate. I'm not surprised at what we're seeing. It is just impressive all around.
By the way, 14 seconds between the two goals.
How about that? Now, if you're Brebeuf, you've played this slow game for the better part of 16 minutes of play. Now you got to turn on the turbo a little bit here. I think Tim Clark wants to settle on this possession. Next time they get the turnover, it's going to be NASCAR speed.
Well, here's the other thing. Both teams have used their timeouts, so unless you get that media timeout. Low shot and a score as Brebeuf answers. Dominic Sakuso, his second goal.
Second time they've left Sakuso to get his hands free for an open shot, and he's made Heritage pay for it. Hayden Hicks has nothing in front of him except Sakuso each time. And he's got one heck of a rip.
You know, that took them less than a minute to get down there and score. What's going on here, Joey?
I think they said we need to help Joey's take at the beginning of the game. We need to start scoring more. You know, we didn't set an over-under, obviously, but I feel like this game is going to be 12-11, 13-12 maybe. It's going to be a dogfight.
Well, you have to consider about 8 minutes or so, we have seen 7 goals, 6 goals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 goals in about 7 minutes of play.
I think the efforts of Wallen are not going unnoticed. 53% on the year at the faceoff X. He's going to continue to be aggressive.
A lot of physical play as HC trying to get possession, a 50-50 ball here on the near sideline, and you can just kind of see how everybody's going after it. It's still loose. That thing's got grease on it or something.
Somebody needs to pick this up. This is what lacrosse is all about, though. The hustle plays matter. See if it turns into anything here.
Steidel nearly lost it. Does. Loses his stick as well. And it goes out of bounds.
What's the adage? If it's in the yard, it's for sale.
Exactly.
A beautiful check to jar that loose.
So now Heritage back with it the other way.
Heritage just avoided a big time offsides. Nope, just kidding. They had 5. I beg your pardon. Normally when you have a long stick defender cross midfield, you have to have a midfielder back there. And they certainly had one back almost in time, but they had enough players.
It was close.
Yeah, it was close.
So now Heritage. Zach Hastings, nice move to the inside, and I'm not sure if that was a shot or not, but it certainly looked like one, but he had Hookema on the near side.
They're at least going to call it that.
Good cutter. Of course, you mentioned the one player staying right there is Nathan White in the middle, right in front of the cage. Here is Schrock. Now they're being very patient now. Boy, you saw as many times they scored how they were able to get down and make it quick. Playing in the half here just doesn't do much, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Nice save.
And that's what we're used to seeing with Cam Rice.
Rice, he's a kind of a big fella too, isn't he?
He is.
Of course, he almost lost it right there.
Big stature, and that helps just being a formidable opposition when you're in between the sticks there.
Rice, one of the seniors there for Brebeuf. So now the Braves take over. Move to the inside, check from behind, losing it'll be Ford Lee. 50-50 ball picked up by Sakuso and then taken away. And it's loose again.
Ran around like a rugby match.
Man, got to grab that thing, fellas. Lee there at midfield finally lands to Kirker. You use that. You talk about adages. How about the hot potato? I mean, I tell you what, it's just bouncing around everywhere. A scrum for the loose ball. This kind of reminds me of like junior soccer where they're all just in one place,
Everybody's
around.
in one spot, yeah.
Heritage Christian finally gets possession. Here they go. This is Taylor.
No jump balls in lacrosse.
No, he threw it away.
That was a great interception by Backus.
Here come the Braves. Nice pass to the inside, the turn, and the shot is missed. That was Connor Fitzgerald.
Definitely one he'd like to have back. That's 2 times he's been right at the cage, and just that bouncer just goes too high.
Another shot. This time they'll be successful. That is Kirker from deep, and it's now 5-4.
First goal of the game for Kirker. Exactly what you needed if you're the Braves. 35th goal in the year. Leading goal scorer for this team. Spark plug.
Well, after a slow start, we have come alive since the 131 mark of period number 1. This has been back and forth. Heritage Christian 4 unanswered, and then Brebeuf back with 2 more of their own.
And you get the illegal procedure, so automatic possession.
Some sports you have to do the same motion. There's just not enough motions you can do. You got procedure in this. That'd be football, or you got that traveling in basketball.
Yep. Too many times. There's definitely a lot of unique official signals for lacrosse. For
there
sure.
is. Yeah.
You never got the chance to do officiate a lacrosse game?
No, never have. I don't think they want to ask me to do one either. I'd have to pull out.
Well, you get to wear a hat. That's good.
That's true. I'd pull out this little card here and go, I wonder if that was that one there. I'm not sure if I would even know what unnecessary roughness really would be.
I think it's all an opinion.
Yeah. Nah, he's fine. Get up. No, I think I mentioned I'm only a basketball official because I can stay inside in a controlled environment.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't have to be out here in this heat. Now I got to run a little bit more, but
you mean you don't want a nice, crisp farmer's tan?
Oh, I got that already. You don't want to see what it looks like either. Nice move to the inside, ball loose right in front of the cage, and losing it there was Connor Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald almost had a beautiful toe drag, splitting 2 defenders. Now Heritage Christian on the run again.
Boy, did they get that thing down there quickly.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by Ivan West's hustle. He has been a workhorse as a short stick D-midi. They don't always get the credit they deserve. You're basically a defender without a long pole.
Yeah.
And you have to run all over the field. It's the least forgiving job on the lacrosse field.
That's not very fair.
It's not. But he's owning his role and commanding the clears right now.
Well, Heritage Christian now with just over 2 minutes remaining. We talk about coming to the end of a half, don't make some crucial mistakes. I think you're kind of in that same area, aren't you?
I believe so. I think this is a chance for Heritage to start building on a lead, but it's Brebeuf's chance to really gain some momentum again. Still feels like it's on the side of the blue right now.
Yeah. By the way, the 2A championship coming up at 3:30 will definitely be sun-baked by then. And that's the heat of the day right there, too.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be tough.
That's going to be tough, but I think the matchup on that field is going to be hotter than the weather.
I am a little disappointed in some of the fans across the way sitting over there in the shade.
Yeah, not hardcore enough.
No.
But you know well and good that'd be you.
Oh, it would be, in a heartbeat.
I mean, that we have our resident sideline reporter, Keith Myers, in the shade anyway. I mean, this is I'm surprised he's not over there in a lawn chair underneath the trees.
Well, that's why we get all the officials' calls now, because he wants to sit behind there in the shade.
Right.
Ball gets loose. Who will get to it first? Hey, what a dive there by Backus.
Still stays with Heritage, though.
Backus looked like he was stealing second base there in the head first slide.
Those are some of my favorite plays in lacrosse. When you hustle for the ball that's going out of bounds. I mean, you have no idea if you're going to get it.
Yeah.
But that proves to you, your coach, and your teammates that you're willing to put your neck on the line for your guys. Those kind of plays matter.
Did I hear you're going to be playing in the men's league?
No. That was for sure not true.
That wasn't true.
No, it's true. It's true. Yeah, brushing off the stick. I mean, I played football in college. I haven't touched the stick in 6 years, so I had to rehash some skills, shake the rust off.
We need to come see you play.
Nah, I don't know about that.
Heritage, low shot. Rice with the save. Ball loose in front of the cage. Who's going to come up with it as the whistle says it'll go back over to Brebeuf. So what position do you play?
I played defense when I was playing, back in high school. And it felt like when I was looking at the men's league, I said, why don't I just play midi, play some offense? But I'm sure that I'll get there and they'll be like, you played defense before? You're there. Stick you there. Go ahead and eat some shots.
That's right. Final possession perhaps here for Brebeuf, and they score. That was number 11, or was it number 3? Sakuso.
That's a hat trick for number 11.
Sakuso ties the game at 5 with his third goal of the day.
Well, lacrosse is forever the game of runs. We saw Heritage tie this game up at 2. Really, they went on a 4-0 run before Brebeuf was finally able to crack one. Brebeuf scores 3 unanswered.
Yeah.
And now we're tied. This game is going to be like this the entire day. We've seen a great first half. See if maybe there's a little magic left in the last 12.
There's a shove from behind. That's going to stop plays. You see the flag come down. That'll go against Heritage.
And depending on how long, no, it doesn't matter how long this is going to go into the second half.
You heard it
so
right
30
there.
seconds, yeah. So it won't be too significant for the start of the second half. But regardless, if you're Brebeuf, you'd rather play man up than even any day of the week.
Well, I'm not going to say they have no chance to score because I've got to change my tune after watching that first game today. But I think they're just going to play safe and run it out. Boy, what a first half. As I said, especially from the end of the first quarter, it was just score, score, score. We went about 3.5 minutes and then score, score, score. And what a way to finish it out. Brebeuf getting 3 straight, and we're tied at 5. Kind of what we expected.
We did expect this to be a close game. First game ended with a Brebeuf victory of 8-7. Tied 5-5 is exactly what I thought it was going to be like. I just think for both these teams, you have such a great opportunity. I mean, now you're starting your second half 0-0. It's like a whole new ball game.
Yeah.
Clean slate. And that's going to be, I think for Heritage, you look at this halftime, and you say, what do we need to draw up? We need to get back to being aggressive again. We gave up that little run. And if you're Brebeuf, stay settled, but be aggressive in your shots. And how about Sakuso? 3 goals in that first half.
Great first half. State Championship 1A. We're tied at 5 here on IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
On camera. He's over here on the...
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
You're up. You're good.
Back at halftime with us is Charlie Berry, the commissioner, the president, the all guy. What else do they give you?
A lot. They give me a lot. I don't know if I can say it on air.
First game comes down to the last 3 seconds. We go in overtime. You blamed IndianaSRN. This one's 5-5. Is this our fault too?
Not yet. Not until there's zeros across the clock in the fourth quarter. So we'll see what happens. It's a good game. This is as advertised in the season. Brebeuf Heritage Christian is a one-goal game in that first time around. So, these are two good teams that want it. They're Circle City Conference opponents, and they play each other a lot in multiple sports. These kids know each other. Some of them go to the same churches. Some went to the same schools growing up. Some play the same youth programs. This means a lot to these teams.
The cool thing is last year with St. Joe and Guerin back-to-back, these two teams are new, not been here before. That's got to be good for our game.
Yeah, I think by expanding the playoff and having teams move up and down, it really makes it great. It gives these teams an opportunity to kind of compete at the highest level, play the cards that they're dealt, and see what they can do with it.
Talk about the championship game for 2A, two big powerhouses. That's going to be a fun game at 3:30 this afternoon.
There's a lot on the table. We look at the regular season. Carmel kind of got away with one 11-4. I don't say it got away, but it was a good game for Carmel. But HSC's been in the state championship, I think, for the fifth time in a row. Carmel's seeking their fifth state championship. HSC's seeking its third in a row. So there's a lot on the table. And I don't really look at the regular season matchup as anything. It's a different game, different season. There's a lot that goes into it, and I'm excited for that game, but we got to get through this second half first.
Okay, our request next year, if possible, would like a swimming pool on the far end of the field, just in case if we get hot, we can take a dip.
Just bring your waders. You'll be fine.
Anything else that we might add? We'll talk to you in the championship game.
Yeah, no, thanks for the opportunity again. Thanks for IndianaSRN for covering these games. There's a lot of folks in and out of town that couldn't be here today, so this provides them a great opportunity. We're excited that you guys here, and we appreciate your partnership.
We appreciate your partnership. Nice crowd on hand, too, fellas. And I'll tell you what, the officials are drinking lots of water. Both teams went to the shade. I think that's where I'm heading. Back up to you guys.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Coaches Without Borders, and Colin is with us. And talk a little bit about Coaches Without Borders and the program and the ministry that you're doing and the fundraising you're doing today.
Yeah, so I am the national team head coach for the women out of Uganda. So I coached them in the World Championship last year. And me sitting with my 2 assistant coaches and my general manager and some other people, we're just like, we love going to other countries that are very underserved, that don't have a lot of resources, and growing the sport of lacrosse. And just being here from Indiana, where it's fairly new, that skill set and mindset is something that I'm used to. So we decided to start our own charity, and we go to third world countries who ask. We provide training for the players, the coaches, the officials, and the administrators as well. So we learn their culture, learn about what works for them, and we help foster and grow lacrosse and do camps and clinics to grow the sport at just an exponential level overseas.
If someone's watching at home would like to donate, what's the website that they could get that done?
Very simple. So it's coacheswithoutborders.world. So it's a different ending. So coacheswithoutborders.world. And we have social media accounts, Twitter and Instagram, just called No Border Coaches. So it's at No Border Coaches, same as Twitter and Instagram. And then we have a website and a link to go over there. So.
And people are watching this because they know that we're covering this championship game. So we got people around the world watching this thing.
That's perfect. Yeah, we have a lot of connections who are watching this, and that's how businesses like us grow. We do put out a good product. We have good people in good places, and we're doing the right thing by growing the sport at just such a grassroots level, but all over the world, in places that just don't have those kind of opportunities and privileges that we have.
Well, personally, I will make sure I get that website taken care of. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time, and good luck to you. Fellas, second half, I tell you what, Brebeuf got here quick. I don't know if they spent much time in the shade, but they are ready for the second half. We'll take it back to the guys when we come back.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Won a championship here at Roncalli. Tied at 5. Want to remind you this broadcast is copyrighted by IndianaSRN and the Indiana High School Lacrosse Association for the private use of our audience. The use of pictures, videos, and audio without the express written permission of IndianaSRN and Indiana High School Lacrosse is prohibited. All right, here we go. Both teams had their 10 minutes. Now we got a brand new second half. Nothing decided so far.
0-0, Troy. This is a whole new game. I think both these teams are feeling positive about what they put out there. Yet, at the same time, there's a lot of things they need to shore up. I feel like if you're looking at Heritage Christian, if you're Brian Schrock, we did such a good job in transition. We felt like we were able to move the ball effectively, precisely, and in rhythm. But if you're Brebeuf, they play a little bit slower. They always have. Tim Clark has a strong pedigree. He's been a coach for such a long time. He knows the game in and out, and he knows exactly how to break down this defense. You start this half man up, I'm sure they drew up a play that we'll see right here to get themselves in position to score and take this lead and really set the tone for the half.
All right, let's find out if that will happen as you see the Braves with possession first to begin this third quarter. The hot hand so far today is Dominic Sacuso.
He was masterful in that first half. Now you're back to even strength, though.
Low shot and a score, just like that. That looked like Ike Steidel.
Second one of the day for Ike Steidel.
Number 8, Ike Steidel.
You know, I know that it was even strength, but Steidel took that shot before the Heritage Christian player could even get back out there. So however you want to look at it, there you see him running in right there.
Yeah, whether or not that was exactly what they planned or if Steidel just felt like he had hands free, that was beautifully done and beautifully executed.
Well, now
21 goals in the year for Ike's title.
I was just going to mention we've had 4 and 4 now.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, runs are always going to be the thing that lacrosse is known for.
Yeah.
If not being the fastest game on 2 feet, and always exciting to watch. You get into a spot where you have, in a state championship game, 2 teams with completely different styles of play. Heritage likes to run and gun versus a Brebeuf team that likes to settle in and get themselves ready and into system. It's not a one-size-fits-all with this game, and I think that's what makes it so exciting.
You know, the other game I really like is indoor lacrosse.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because it's so much smaller.
With the NLL? Yeah. Oh, and the goalies with all the pads?
Yeah. Winding up and then passing it was Kirker.
Yeah, I don't think Ford Lee was ready for that pass.
Here comes Heritage.
Back to form.
Love to run when they can. Ukama now after a goal early. Caleb off that right side and now behind the cage as they'll settle in, and a change there as Colby Lindeman coming in now for Brebeuf. So far, Sukuso with 3, Steidel has 2. The only 2 players here today that have multiple goals. If you just joined us, don't forget we have the 2A championship coming up today at 3:30. Joey will have the call on that game, and tell you what, everybody's anticipating that one, much like they have in this one. 2 teams have met earlier this year with Carmel winning. How about that sidearm shot? That is Reed Schrock.
Wow. Gotta love that. And Brian Schrock, he's not hooting and hollering and celebrating. Of course, he's got a team to coach, but he's got to be a little bit happy that his son just tied up the game in the state championship.
Heck of a shot, though, wasn't it?
Beautiful shot. I mean, this was a rip from Reed.
You know, we're going to go to Keith here. Let's go downstairs. Keith?
Hey, the water break, both coaches have waved that off. So both teams have 2 timeouts only this half, no media timeout. That may play a factor late in this game because the heat is still coming down.
You know what? I like that. You know, listen, got to play. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I understand the water break, but they got enough subs coming in, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think I don't know who maybe proposed that idea first. Maybe it was an intimidation factor. or it was just hey, we both know we're conditioned enough to handle that kind of thing.
I think our trainers did, fellas, to be honest with you. The trainers really were concerned that this thing could get up to 93, 94 degrees, but it's maintained about 89 degrees right now. They feel they can play through it.
I think we'll definitely see it in the 2A game then.
Yeah. Good work here by Brebeuf, as you'd mentioned, being very deliberate in the offense. Boy, look at the checking there against Ford Lee.
Yeah, beautiful slide. Carter Taylor stayed on his man, and Colin Thompson tried to play cleanup. Then you get your LSM, Jacob Engel, running it down. If he's open, he's going to shoot.
Boy, ball tipped and turned over.
This is a clinic for long stick midfielders. If you're a young player getting into lacrosse and you said, you know what, I would love to carry a 6-foot pole around in this game, look at number 4 and number 42. Your long stick midfielders are putting on a clinic about where your stick should be in the passing lane, how you should be able to clear, scooping ground balls. Both these guys are playing at expert level.
Well, and if you end up playing long stick midi in the men's league, you can put a video together.
Yeah, I don't know. I won't be anything like these kids anymore. That's for sure. Washed up is how they describe my
You're
my
too
talents.
young to be washed up. Now, Keith, he's washed up. We call him the non-athletic regular person.
Mr. Narp.
That's right. So you know that term.
Oh, yeah.
See? I think Keith thought I just made it up. So Brebeuf again in the half once more and trying to be very patient. Kirker.
Oh, man.
Man, that's tough right there.
Because of the nature of this game, that might not feel like something that would be, tumultuous for Brebeuf,
Yeah.
but you certainly don't want to have a turnover in a tie ball game like that.
Nearly intercepted in midfield there by Lindemann. So Heritage Christian, after the Schrock goal, they'd given up 4 unanswered.
Schrock's coming back on. I think they're going to try to get his hands free again. Maybe get him open with a pick game or let him dodge. But big number 14, he's looking for it again. He's hungry.
High screen there by Ethan Andrews, and he'll receive once again out front. Andrews dodging his way all the way behind the cage. Another high pass there is Zach Hastings. And then the shot. Nice job by Rice once again. That's a pretty hard shot there by Schrock.
He was trying to follow it up once again. I can't say I blame him either. This Brebeuf team will slide a little late at times, and you'll see their long stick close defenders wait and wait and wait for their short stick defensive midfielder to get beat because they believe in that defense.
Sometimes you can wait too long though, huh?
Certainly.
So again, Heritage, as we come up on the 6-minute mark, trying to regain the lead. That one hit the post. The left-hand shot is missed. And now ball loose at midfield and beyond, picked up eventually by Ethan Andrews. Great hustle. Cranfield got drilled, and the fans wanted a call against Lindemann. Well, we saw both teams use their timeouts very early in the first half, and they have kept them in their pocket here in the third. Hastings really slowing down the pace right here. Ball loose. Well, I tell you what, that's a tough turnover again.
Lindemann was ready for it, and Brebeuf tosses it away again.
Wow.
It's tough when you're in the chaos of a clear. It seems like something that should just be very routine, but it's always different. No two clears are the same. And Brebeuf obviously feels that, but a turnover here from Heritage. I didn't quite see the officials' mark there, but either way.
Yeah, I did not either. Brebeuf shot, blocked, picked up, and then scored. That's going to be number 14, which is Connor Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald finally gets his revenge. A couple doorstep opportunities go haywire for him, makes up for him there, and gives Brebeuf the lead.
Joy, that was off of a miss that basically bounced right back to him, and you can see it right here.
And he goes low again. I think Hicks was ready for him to go back high. That was a nice backup plan for the junior. 20th goal in the year. He's got 26 assists as well to lead this team. Very unselfish player is Connor Fitzgerald.
Well, that happens at 4:59 of this third quarter, and the official blows the whistle. We got a timeout. So we have our first timeout of the third, 7-6, Brebeuf.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Welcome back to Roncalli High School for this 1A championship game between Brebeuf and Heritage Christian. Back downstairs with Keith Myers.
I don't know if you guys have mentioned this or not, but Heritage Christian has 15 seniors. They have played since 5th grade. So mom, dad, brother, sister since 5th grade has been going to lacrosse games, been watching lacrosse games, watching highlights on IndianaSRN, liking Troy Derigowski, the whole bit. Except the experience really may come in late in this game.
Well, and you're right, and I mentioned how Brebeuf, you look at their squad, they've got a core of seniors, but they don't have maybe the depth as Heritage Christian does, but they don't have all those seniors. And when you've been playing, like he said, since, third or fourth grade, that makes a big difference.
Oh, when you have that sense of camaraderie and brotherhood, it's always going to make a difference. And, I mean, to this point in their lives, they've dreamed about this moment. Playing against their rival in a state championship game, it really can't get much better.
Well, after the timeout, Heritage trying to answer the Fitzgerald goal that was scored at the 4:59 mark. So let's see what Heritage has in store here. White, ball loose. This is a 50-50 ball. Who's going to come up with it? Eventually getting back will be Samuel White. White spins and got drilled, and it was a clean play.
Ow! Crew Morgan laid the lumber.
Oh, my. I know we always talk about, would you get up? I'd be like, no, I think I'll just, of course, the field's too hot, probably lay on.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably, what's worse?
Brebeuf back in scoring position, and they do. Left-hand shot with some heat on that one is Will Kirker.
And that's what he does, Will Kirker. Now we see the change of style a little bit. Brebeuf. Now they were in transition, they get that goal, and now you see a little bit different flavor out of this Braves team. I wonder if that was something Tim Clark was trying to implore to his team at halftime. Now with 3:40 left in this third quarter to take that 2-goal lead.
Wow, that was quick too. You're talking about, again, that transition that we talked about so much throughout the season, teams that can get down and get into scoring position, and you saw it right there. And Kirker, by the way, his second goal. And Joey's forecast is now starting to really take more shape again. High-scoring game. It's 8-6.
I had 20 in my head for the over-under.
Ah.
Now, of course.
Hey, we got a long way to go.
We got a long way to go. A lot of time left in these two teams. I don't think either of them are done trying to score at every point they can. Mind you, Heritage Christian was 5 of 6 shots on goal today to start out in that first half, about midway through that second quarter.
Well, that was Caleb Hoekema unable to come up with that errant pass until he had to run it down on the sideline, so nearly a turnover there for Heritage. Good look here at Hastings. Hastings and Hoekema working behind the cage as they'll bring it back out front. Shot wide to the left. Nathan White had a pretty good look on that question mark shot. They'll be able to retain possession. That is Caleb Hoekema once again. Michael Garver there to try to force him away from the goal. Boy, Heritage has a really big crowd here today. In fact, Brebeuf has a good student section here and a great bunch of fans that have showed up for this championship matchup. And there's a score by Heritage. The flag came in. And that'll be, I believe, Blake Cranfield. His first.
Well, it was a great way to take advantage of the penalty forthcoming here for Brebeuf. You get yourself in a spot, and it was interesting too that he didn't hesitate at all. Yeah. He didn't say, "Oh, okay, we have a penalty. We should stop." I'm just going to go to the cage and go score. Now you're back within 1 if you're Heritage.
I got a score, Jerry.
Well, we have Brebeuf coming back with 2. Cranfield comes back for Heritage. We've gone back and forth, and from a player and, well, even announcer and fan standpoint, this roller coaster ride.
Yeah, oh yeah. We're in it, baby.
Let's go down to Keith Myers.
Fellas got a score for the girls as we're covering both the girls and guys state championship. Park Tudor and Center Grove tied at 4-4 with 20 minutes to go in first half. A pretty high scoring game on the girls side. Back up to you guys.
So again, both boys and girls state championships here on IndianaSRN. Brebeuf able to scoop on that one.
Oh man, that's going to be a penalty.
Yep, here comes the flag. That will be an easy call.
Now, obviously, Engel was trying to go for that stick check. Hits the foot of Backus and trips him up. Nothing you can do about that. But Brebeuf already shorthanded. Heritage just needs to take possession of that ball, and they're going to try to double, as they should.
Heritage down by 1 as you see Cook. Here comes that double team. And he quickly gets rid of it. Nice pass, and then just dropping it was Steidel, and he was ready to shoot before he got the ball. Boy, we've seen that a lot here today where a player doesn't get a clean possession, tries to shoot, and they end up turning it over. So we got a 1-minute penalty here.
10 seconds left on that Brebeuf penalty as well.
We are at even strength right here. But Brebeuf will have a player back in relatively soon. As you'd mentioned, Sakuso will be back. I love the countdown, though.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to have the countdown, at least in our ear.
Well, and you want Sakuso back out there, too.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about that.
The way he has scored today.
And 3 goals to his credit.
Low shot. Yes. Well, that didn't take long.
Speaking of 3 goals for any particular player, Steidel again sniping.
Assisted by number 11, Dominic Sakuso.
Boy, he's had a heck of a day, hasn't he? Man.
Well, he's a player who doesn't always make the flashy type of play because he doesn't need to. He just got a really nice shot. Second time he scored from there. From about 10 to 12 yards out. Not an easy angle either, but he gets past Hicks.
Again, that'll come at the 1:17 mark here for Brebeuf. Now leading at 9-7. And the face-off won again by Brebeuf. Here's Carlson. Goes down, but got rid of it. Brebeuf will work behind the cage. Can they get another quick one? Yes. Nice pass inside to Kirker. Wow. 13 seconds, by the way.
Now a third player with a hat trick for Brebeuf.
Assisted by number 14, Connor Fitzgerald.
Connor Fitzgerald gets the assist here. Is the only other Brebeuf player to score. Kirker caught the defense sleeping. Off ball cut. Dunk it home.
Well, everything's happening in waves here, so don't be surprised if Heritage comes back, puts a couple of goals on board, but boy, you got to win the face-off. They did not, under a minute to go. That, when you watch a play like that last one, Joy, and I know that when you talk about maybe textbook, fundamentally the way to do it, that's how you do it.
Absolutely. There's a spot in every game where a team is going to go on a run. Now, we've seen several runs in this game. Brebeuf's run right now is, I think, predicated on the fact that they're just hustling to every ball and they're taking advantage of every spot that they have. You know, you saw it when they were a man down. They even got that clear, waited a little bit, and then got more space. They're doing that again and again and again, try to get themselves open and being deliberate with their passing.
Wide open, low on the shot, and Brebeuf does it again. Steidel now with 4.
Brebeuf goal, number 8, Ike Steidel.
You can't let this guy free. He is just too powerful. That's a 13, 14-yard shot, and he's making it. I mean, that ball had to be traveling at least 80 miles an hour. And it's bouncing.
Wow. Well, had that little almost sidearm low shot there, and
I think it's the calf sleeve. It's got some.
It's got to be
good juju on there.
Yeah. Well, let's go get some. Could all use some of that. 8 seconds remaining. Heritage.
His name should be Ike Style.
Last chance. Here's Hastings, and that will do it for period number 3. We will switch sides. Hold on to the wife and children because this could be an interesting fourth quarter. 11-7, Brebeuf.
We really focus on modern application development, DevOps, so automating the whole process of delivering your solution, and cloud architecture.
It's very important for mid to large companies to have cloud partners because you can't possibly have all the talent you need to address the complex ecosystem of the cloud.
We advise them on all parts of their business. And then when things are defined and we see a clear goal, Clean Slate also then goes and does the work.
We have a team that is very passionate about what they do. We love to solve complex problems, and there's a lot of companies out there that will avoid, getting involved in those things, and I think that's why clients like to work with us.
Now, right now we have what you would consider a shootout here in the 1A championship game. Brebeuf, what a way to finish out that third quarter with Steidel getting 2 of the 3 goals. But again, the pattern has stayed the same. And don't think that 4 goals is out of reach because we saw Heritage Christian score 4 straight back in the first and late first and early second quarter. So
this game is forever going to be about runs, and the way that you get on a break like that is by doing exactly what Brebeuf did and exactly what Heritage did in that second quarter. They started to just get that energy and that belief back, and Brebeuf just started working in system, feeling like exactly what they were doing was exactly what they should have been doing. And this team only 1 loss this year, and that was to a 2A opponent. They're 4-1 against 2A opponents this year, 9-0 against 1A opponents. This has been a team that has been down a few times and come back in games. This is by far the most challenged I think they've been all year, minus that Zionsville loss, because Heritage just has been playing with this energy. We didn't see it so much out of the Eagles at the end of that third quarter. I anticipate that we'll see that again here in this fourth.
By the way, just to let people know about the weather, we've got a little bit of cloudy skies
take
now.
it.
That's a big help. Well, you stop that sun just a little bit, and even though it's going to stay warm, it can be a big lift both ways energy-wise. 87 degrees right now, feels like 85. Does that make any sense? 87, but it feels like 85? Wouldn't it feel like 80?
Just cloud cover?
Wouldn't it be 85 feel like 87?
Right.
Yeah. So Brebeuf trying to add to their lead here in the fourth. Quick passing has done the job so far. Bouncing high was Connor Fitzgerald. I think he tried to shoot that one as low as he could, but it bounced a little bit too much in front of the keeper.
Hicks came up huge in that game against Evansville Memorial in the state semis. And he's a technician on the clears as well.
So now Heritage, high pass might have been touched, and it was by Brebeuf.
You know, you wonder about the way that Heritage might try to access some goals. That's not going to help right there. Beautiful defense by Lindemann, but Need more active cutters. Those two guys above the cage right there, they have to make this defense confused. When there's picks coming, you have to make the defense fight through to get your advantage on offense. But the Brebeuf defense has really, really honed in on what they're trying to do.
Heritage now looking to score. Got a check. Low shot. Nice save. As Brebeuf able to get Rice in there with a low save. There's a shot right into his net. Ethan Andrews on the attempt. And how about Cam Rice?
That was the right shot for Ethan Andrews, just bad placement. Rice didn't have to work too hard for it.
Brebeuf! Boy, that was a hard shot. 24, Michael Garver.
Big Michael Garver, senior. This is his last lacrosse game of his high school career. Really wanted that pole goal.
Well, he was winding up at about the 40. Long shot and a good save. That was a left-hand attempt there by Kirker. Again, the farther you are out, and again, this is a pretty obvious thing to say, easier it is for that keeper to see it. So nice movement, low, and the shot off the mark as Heritage tried to get the quick one there by Caleb Hookema. Unable to do so. Here comes the Braves once again. Low shot and another save. That was a little side arm there by Sukuso as he was looking for what? Goal number 5?
That's right. Yeah, he had a full head of steam too. Brebeuf trying to settle here a little bit.
Well, about this time on a warm day like this, as the sun now peeking back in through the clouds, you can get a little tired about now. You know, you haven't played in a 90-degree day this year.
No, definitely not. I think even on Wednesday when these semifinals hit, it was 70-something.
Yeah.
It's challenging to play in the heat when you're really used to it. But both these teams have done a good job handling it and obviously conditioned for it.
That shot is high. That was Cook. Wasn't a bad pass at all, but just a little bit too high on the shot. This is Kirker. Well, you know, and you hear the Heritage Christian fans get the ball back. You're down by 4, and you know Brebeuf is going to be very deliberate here. One thing they want to avoid is just don't turn it over. Would you like to see a shot clock in high school lacrosse?
I think it's good and bad. I would obviously love to see these offenses hurry up in some cases. You know, you'd like to see that added pressure. But, I think it would cause too many offensive errors. Kids would feel more impatient and hasty. I think it's good that these players can settle a little bit. Also, but it does help the defense, too, with the shot clock. At the very least, you help the goalies.
Yeah.
Because then the goalies aren't working too hard on, trying to communicate, work against. They're playing more goalie than they are communicating.
That's deep shot.
And also, just from an audience point of view, it does speed up the game. That's where I think it helps. In general, you're always going to love seeing more action than no action, of course. And sometimes the hardest part about lacrosse, it's great for the players to settle, but sometimes as a product, you'd love to see, and that's why you love to see him work the ball around more. That's why in the college game, the shot clock was shortened. That's why in the Premier Lacrosse League, the shot clock is shortened. You get a reset too, and at that chance, at least there is more action.
Well, I certainly shared my opinions on high school basketball and the shot clock.
Yes,
you know
exactly.
what I want there, so I figure why not do it here too?
Sure.
And when I become emperor, I'll change that too, so I'll let you know. Well, that time Heritage unable to get anything on offense, and now we talk about the crunch time. Here it is, because you're down by 4, and we're still at 11-7. Pace has slowed down as well. You just don't have many possessions remaining now if you're Heritage Christian.
And not only that, you really need the turnover, and that's not going to help.
Well, I tell you what, really getting physical right there. Carter Taylor, and there's another flag down, and that may cost Taylor.
Might be a little bit of frustration setting in for Carter Taylor. Emotions are running high. This is the state championship. You have everything in front of you. Get the penalty here. And actually might be two men. They might be 2 men down.
Yeah, I think he was getting both
slash and I believe a push with possession, but we'll see.
Well, Carter Taylor was the one that was getting a little frustrated right there. And so they will also bring over Brennan Howell.
Yep.
So you lose your 2 starting defensemen here, right? So, yeah, this is going to be really tough.
And that pins you in a tough spot. Also, you're allowed 4 pulls, so it's interesting to have Noah Masso out there as a short stick defensive midfielder. Brebeuf's just going to try to pick around him.
Shot's going to be deflected. It will stay with Brebeuf. You don't see this very often, though, when you're down by 2.
No. You don't see 2 men down too often. Certainly not a position that anyone wants to be in. But it does sort of give you a little chip on your shoulder when you're 2 men down. Because you want to be able to prove to your team that you can do it. Maybe light a little fire.
Woo! Sakusa with a shot. You heard that hit the goalkeeper, Hicks. And now a scramble for the loose ball, eventually won there by Brebeuf.
And they're going to be back to even strength at the end of this minute penalty.
Yeah, so they want to get a goal here, and they're winding up, firing high, and going over Hicks.
They're going to send Brendan Howell and Ivan West out there.
There's a shot and a score. And looks like that may have been number 7. Is that right?
Yeah, Ford Lee gets his goal.
Boy, that's big. We'll get another look at it right here.
Those penalties release as well.
So all of a sudden now, it is a 5-goal lead. Boy, that was virtually, there was nothing that Hayden Hicks could do on that one. I mean, you're down by 2 men, and you thought maybe you survived it right there. The ball got loose. They come back, get it again, set it up, and score. That's just big. And how about Brebeuf? After that whistle, they'll get it right back again.
Yeah, the Braves have just controlled what they can. This has been it's been fun to watch this offense operate.
That one bouncing in front of Hicks and high over the cage.
There's also an aspect to this Brebeuf offense that they know exactly when to hustle at the right time.
Carmel, Hamilton Southeastern coming up at 3:30 today, the 2A championship. Well, that one almost gets away again.
How about Ivan West today? Carrying the ball. This guy has cleared so many times for this Eagles team. Been an absolute workhorse keeping these guys in this. Got to get a shot here, though. Penalty ensuing.
Yeah, ball tipped by the way. Well, let's again think you're down by 5. We've seen it happen. You can get goals quickly, but you know the Braves are going to get it back, and they're going to stall a lot, and they use the clock. But on this end, Joy, they got to get some really quick shots.
Yeah, they do. There's not enough time to be in settled offense until you get within 2, I would say. You got to get a quick score here, or else things are looking a little doom and gloom. And I hate to be pessimistic as a broadcaster, right? But you're fighting against the clock right now.
Yeah, it's a reality. But now you're a man up. Chance here for Heritage Christian. We mentioned crunch time moments ago, and it gets crunchier as we go because we're down to about 4. That's a nice save. Rice able to get a pad on that one and knock it away, and Rice is celebrating as he should because that was a good attack from behind the cage.
That was a great save, too. I have that as his 7th save today so far, and he hasn't He hasn't been challenged too often to make saves. A lot of the goals for Heritage Christian have come in transition. But something like that against the crease. How about this defensive play, too?
Yeah, Carter Taylor had a great stick check at the other end that knocked the ball loose. Boy, but sloppy play right there, and Brebeuf will get it back.
Yeah, Colin Thompson had a great clear, but all for naught. Taylor, another push.
Taylor's like...
I have a strong feeling. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Colin Thompson and Carter Taylor, both football boys, because they are form blocking these guys into the ground.
Yeah, they're big fellas. They do the little pancake blocks, you know. They just, bam,
flattened. And that's the appeal of lacrosse for a lot of different athletes, is the how it transcends your original sport. And I love that football players take such a liking to lacrosse.
That one hits off the side of the net. You know, and we don't want to use the word pancake very often because Keith is, on the broadcast, so we might want to just change our terminology there. Ball squirts away, and Brebeuf gets it back. That might seal it right there unless Heritage has a miracle in them, down by 5. It's going to be really tough here now for Heritage Christian. Yeah, we're reminded that Northridge scored a lot late in the semifinal. I think, though, that Brebeuf might have learned their lesson on that one, right? Flag down.
Oh, that's Wallen taking another hit. He's going to be out in the penalty box either way. But you're right. Brebeuf had that 1-goal win against Northridge. That was tough. It was a hard-fought battle. Northridge had given all that they could to Brebeuf, scoring multiple times in just 30 seconds.
2 minutes.
2 minutes left, though. This is the rest of your career here.
Oh, my, big time hit once again. This time Colin Thompson laying out Ike Steidel. Keith is down on the sidelines trying to get in the way of some of those shots, I think. Can we just maybe make one request before this is over? Can we see if Keith will take a shot from one of the players, and see how he responds?
It won't go well.
No?
I'd like to see him take a shot on goal.
Yeah, Jerry's right.
Yeah, I think Jerry's right. Jerry said to us in our ear, I'd like to see him take a shot on goal. That'd be a lot of fun. That'd be more fun for me.
Can we go down and take a shot at him too? Or
not at him, Troy. This feels like a personal conversation.
Oh, I mean shot on goal?
And I know my mic is off, so that's nice.
90 seconds remaining. And Brebeuf does it again. This time it'll be Connor Fitzgerald.
Exclamation point for Brebeuf. Connor Fitzgerald.
That's his second.
21st on the year. Got 2 assists today as well. He's had a great game.
That is now 5 straight scores for Brebeuf. The last time that Heritage scored was Cranfield's goal at 2:31 of the third.
Yep.
They've been shut out. Well, it's easy for me to say. They've been shut out in this fourth quarter. Amazing.
It's been tough sledding for the Eagles in this fourth quarter, but it's really by virtue of Brebeuf honing in on their identity, which is just all year been domination on the offensive front. You got ball scorers everywhere. I mean, when you're doing research for this game, you see a lot. You don't see a lot of parity. A lot of these players scoring everywhere.
Yeah.
A lot of spread, and that's because they can do that. They can score from anywhere, and that's why they're likely a state championship team.
Schrock trying to find an opening, and he's got white jerseys all over him. Flag will come down. How in the world did he get through 3 of those?
I have no idea. I mean, he's a big body. He gets through defenders. We saw him crack a shot earlier. And that's going to be a hold there for Brebeuf's Graham Spacher.
Holding 30 seconds.
Jack Clark back in there for Brebeuf. Under a minute remaining. Low shot wide right by Samuel White. Keith will have the coach of the winning team after this one. And right now it is Brebeuf. That one also a little bit wide. Good reflexes.
As a reminder,
Go by Rice.
off the field at the end of the game.
Another shot wide off the left.
Just letting everything rip. Why not?
Yeah, you might as well at this stage.
Finish out. I know that's something that Brian Schrock really emphasizes for this team.
There's a shot. Rice with the save. Good English on that one by Sam White.
Yeah, he's going to end the day with 8 saves. Just an unbelievable effort from Rice. And we weren't so sure in the beginning of the game. I felt like Heritage had his number a little bit. Certainly been impressive in this second half.
Caleb Miller was taking all kinds of checks there at midfield. And the pass a little bit high. And we're down to the final 4, and Brebeuf is going to take home some hardware today. They win it by a final of 13-7. They score the last 5 goals of this game, and they are now the state champions here in 2023.
Tim Clark with us, and Coach, congratulations on a state championship.
Thank you very much.
Been a long year. You played when it was really, really cold, and it's a hot day. Your kids just came out second half. What did you say at halftime to change their tune a little bit?
I honestly didn't have to say much. They wanted this just as much as anybody. We've had a lot of challenges all year, and they knew this other team, Heritage Christian, was not going to stop fighting, so we had to keep fighting as well.
We've been around a long time, Tim. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Back up to you guys. Tim Clark, the head coach at Brebeuf.
All right, congratulations, Coach. And they finish out the season winning 13 straight. They finish at 14-1. They got a scare in the semifinals when they beat Northridge in overtime 10-9. But as we said a little bit ago, Joey, a very dominating performance in that fourth quarter.
It's so apparent. You see how stoic Tim Clark is. It's always how he's been. He's been around this game for so long. He's one of the pioneers of lacrosse in the state of Indiana. Getting this state championship means the world to this program, and it's really going to pay dividends for a long time to come. They got it done today just because of the way that they operated and their belief in themselves. They took shots that were so confident. It's not like they were just trying to get shots on goal because that's what you should do.
Yeah.
Every pass was delivered. Every shot was taken with the intent to score, not just to make it harder on the goalkeeper, Hayden Hicks. And it's just such a great effort from Brebeuf to win this game. And kudos to Heritage. What a fun game to be a part of. It was 5-5 at the end of the first half. They went on this run that just erupted the stands. Really felt like the Eagles had Brebeuf's number for a long time.
Yeah.
But the Braves stuck to the game plan. And Tim Clark, he said we didn't have to say much. Okay. We knew exactly what we needed to do. It was incredible.
Let's go back downstairs with Keith Myers.
Coach is still coaching. Great season.
Thank you very much, man. It's been awesome. It hurts right now. These guys have worked so hard, and to lose in the heat, which is not an excuse, I think it just makes it that much more painful. We will give it up to Jesus Christ. That's who we've played for all season, for him and for each other, and we're not going to give that up at this time.
We appreciate everything you've done the last couple of years for us, Coach. You make it very easy doing your games at home, and this week was very nice, too. Thank you so much for what you've done for us.
It is awesome to partner with you guys and to be out here and just lift the game of lacrosse up. It's a great game. I came into it late in my life in the last 8 years, and it's a privilege and an honor. And again, we do everything for Christ. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Coach. Back up to you guys.
I appreciate his witness as well here. As they lose it, will be the runner-up. But as he said, they certainly have had a great year. And it does hurt for right now, but they'll be able to build on this here this afternoon. Joy, we got one more to go, the 2A championship. That one's going to be fun, too.
Get your popcorn. What'd you say earlier? Hold your wife and kids?
Hold the wife and children, because that's going to be a fun one, too. What I mean by that is hold them close, because it can be dangerous out here once you get going.
It's going to be fun.
Final score, 13-7, Brebeuf, the 1A state champions, thanks to the entire crew, as always, doing a fantastic job as Brebeuf crowned today as the 1A state champions.
Number 46, Caden Powell. Number 6, Blake Cranfield. Number 19, Nick Davis. Number 12, Jackson Dorsch. Number 31, Noah Hafner. Number 16, Zach Hastings.